Hello friends, this is Odds, unless it's the IRS asking, and today I was browsing Twitter, which in and of itself is a bad mistake, I must admit, when I saw this tweet by True Talent, and it says the following. Food for thought. Doing 4K challenges and acting like they are wins hurts the understanding of the game and makes people use them as evidence that the game is balanced or even in the killer's favor, even though you can negate 2/3 of the overall objective to achieve this. And this is not just an opinion that True holds. Other people have called me out for this, without naming anyone in particular. There was a person that really thought that me doing 50 wins in a row was bad for the game because, you know, the game is very, very survivor-sided, so goes the argument. And if I win so many times, I'm basically trying to, like, ignore the fact that killers are very weak.
Like this kind, and the same thing for these 50 win streak videos that Otzdarva makes. It's the same thing. It's the same damaging representation. Anybody can do it. Anybody can go win 50 times in a row with the spirit because the survivors are all bad.
I thought this was ridiculous, and we'll address that later. But back to True's actual point. Why are we ignoring 2/3 of the objective? The objective, according to True, is to get hooks, to get as many kills as possible, get all the hooks in the world, which of course is 12. There's 4 survivors. Each survivor can be hooked 3 times. So ideally, in an ideal world, you would end the match with 12 hooks. And if you end the match with only 4 hooks because you just, you just kill everyone on first hook, then you're not really showing your true potential. You're not really playing the right way. And you're making it very easy for yourself. And of course, as it is to be expected, someone took exactly 3 seconds to tag me immediately afterwards to, let's start that sweet drama. Thank you, Tang3108. Thank you very much. But as Kat points out correctly down below, I'm not the only person doing 4K wins challenges at all. In fact, I don't even do 4Ks. I'm okay with 3Ks and hatch and so on. So this tweet, not necessarily about me.
You realize that pretty much every streamer plays for kills, right? Like, people are acting like this isn't what pretty much every streamer does. Like, how do you think you get 50 wins in a row, guys? You think you get 50 wins in a row by 12 hooking? Like, what's going on?
Okay, maybe a little bit about me, but yeah, let's not start too much drama. Let's listen to what True thinks and, and try to get an idea of why he thinks 12 hooking is harder than just winning however you can.
You can deep it with a 4K is at a loss. No, free hooks is a win, man. 3 hooks, that's it. That's not what I said. I'm just conforming to it now. 3 hooks is a win. 3 kills, not 3 hooks. Yeah, 3 kills can be 3 hooks. I guess, yeah, 3 hooks if it's 3 kills. But however many hooks it takes for 3 kills. There. I said it the wrong way around. 3 kills is a win. Sorry.
The argument goes that you can, without any problem whatsoever, just kill survivors at 1 hook. And that's it. It's super simple. But if we are completely honest, this is not so easy at all. You cannot very easily down 1 survivor, then down another survivor, then down another survivor, then down all 4, and then start hooking and start killing them. That does not happen. There are only 2 scenarios where that can happen. Either you are playing a very aggressive killer that is really, really powerful, a nurse, a blight, I don't know, a huntress, and you are the best at what you do, and you are so good that you can down any team without letting them recover. In which case, to me, you've earned the win. Or the team itself is so bad that they allow you to down everyone and win the game right there at the start. And in either case, to me, that is still a win. Survivors have a multitude of resources to avoid getting slugged. Here's some of them. They have a multitude of resources to avoid being one-hooked. Here's a few of them. And their own gameplay can make it very, very difficult for you to just down everyone and win at the very start. If you go against good survivors, I know, everybody knows, it's not so simple. Even in tournaments where people are trying to win really, really hard, you rarely see a killer get away with just slugging and winning right off the bat. So, the argument goes that it's instead so much more difficult, so much harder to go for hooks. And that if you go for hooks, then it's not so easy to win anymore. Well, because I don't want this to be just anecdotal evidence back and forth, I actually tried to do this. I played every single killer and tried to go simultaneously for 4Ks. So hard 4Ks. I wanted to win every match with 4Ks. And also try to get as many hooks as possible. And I went way out of my way to do this. I'm talking, I would hook a survivor and immediately go to the other end of the map to make sure that I never ever prevented the save from happening. So, and of course, I went for 12 hooks, so I went also out of my way to never tunnel anyone, to make sure that everybody got the hooks, to make sure that no one got hatched, but if someone was dead, that it wasn't their first hook. I really tried to go for as many hooks as I could. And to make things fair, for True and I actually watched through his channel. I wrote down what add-ons he uses on each killer. Like, I watched a couple of his videos for each killer to get an idea. And I used those add-ons on each killer. And then, to make things extra fair, I didn't use his builds. I actually took this one build, which consists of Brutal Strength, Sloppy Butcher, Thanophobia, and Whispers, which is the most basic build, and I run this build on every single killer. Now, this build is not fantastic. I'm pretty sure True and anyone else would agree that this is not the best build in the world. It has only a bit of slowdown, 5% for each injured survivor. On gems, a little bit of anti-healing, a little bit of pallet break-in speed up, and Whispers. So that you know more or less where survivors are. That's it. And how did we do with this build on every killer with the add-ons that True uses? Well, as you can see, we 4K'd every match except for the Blight one. And the Blight one we didn't 4K because I just refused to tunnel someone at the start. I'm not the greatest Blight, all things admitted. But I'm pretty sure that if I had been a bit more ruthless, I could have won that one easily as well. No sweat. But, Otzdarva, how many hooks did you get? You filthy 3-hooking, bastard. How many hooks did you get? Well, I got this many hooks, which is pretty damn good. Right? Like, this average of hooks that you can see on screen right now, I think is pretty damn good. For the build we use, especially. But, Otzdarva, look at that. There's not that many 12 hooks. So you still are a dirty tunneler camper bitch. Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened during these matches. During these matches, we had an abundance of people killing themselves on hook, like for absolutely no reason. Also, even though I literally went out of my way to stay as far away from possible from the people on the hook, we still had people, survivors doing gens and leaving their teammates to die on the hook or to hit stage 2 on the hook, even though I literally went out of my way to avoid that. And we had people disconnect as well. So in these situations, I literally couldn't do anything. I cannot unhook the survivors myself as a killer. So if we take these situations, which I wrote down, and we count them as full hooks, because let's be honest, if a guy, I down him and he disconnects, he's robbing me of 3 hooks, because I literally can't do anything about that. So if we take these situations and we count them as 3 full hooks, if a survivor doesn't give me the chance by killing himself on the hook and stuff like that to get a second hook, and it's not my fault, if we take them and count them as 3 hooks, you know what happens? This happens. We actually have 12 hooks on every single game, except for the Blight one again, because 2 of them escape. So, and of course, as you can see, also, we got good results in the pipping department, if you care about that. All of these games, of course, done at rank 1. So, after all of this, do I think that going for hooks is harder than going for just straight up wins? No, I generally don't think so. The thing about going for hooks is that you literally have to babysit survivors, and it's extremely annoying. Extremely annoying. I would have survivors that would be off the hook, and they would, because they have, BT, decisive, and so on, they would literally run at me, and you can watch the whole video and see it for yourself. Run at me like, oh, hook me again, tunnel me. And I'm like, okay, dude, I'm trying to hook someone else, and this guy is just getting in my way. So survivors literally make it impossible for you to get those 12 hooks, or even get close to it, if you let them do their thing. I honestly think that True should reconsider his view that going for 12 hooks is this very novel, very difficult idea, and going for wins is this very cheap, this very easy strategy, because there's really not that much of a difference. The reason why I could win so consistently across the board with this very basic build, by the way, is because I use add-ons. Add-ons on half of these killers are so powerful and they carry you so much. But of course, not a single word about that when we talk about the win streaks where I don't use add-ons in general. So the real deal here, the reason why True can go streams and streams and streams and streams without losing a single time, I bet, and why I can go dozens and dozens and dozens of games without losing a single time, it's not because I am a cheap asshole that just, 3 hooks and wins. And it's not because he has OP add-ons. It's because we have 5,000 hours in the game each. And the average player that we go against is maybe 500, 600, 1,000 hours. And that is just not enough. That is just not enough. Not to mention that the average players that we go against are sometimes solos. Occasionally we'll go against the occasional 4-man team that are all pretty good, and both he and I will have a hard time, same as anyone else. And it kind of hurts me to see that we're fighting about this instead of maybe finding points of agreement on other things. Now, the second argument that True kind of hints and other people really nail is that, and we're going to address that now, is that we are given the impression that Killer is too powerful. Killer is way too powerful. And that this game is actually not killer-sided at all. And that is a completely different debate. And how do I feel about that debate? Well, it seems to me like sometimes we want to have our cake and eat it too. It almost feels like if you're playing Killer, you want the game to be balanced around you, specifically you, getting 4Ks every game. And if you don't get 4Ks every game, it's not balanced. And honestly, I'm not even sure True, nor me, nor anyone else wants the game to be balanced. I don't think that's the case. For the game to be balanced, you should be getting 2 kills every game, on average. And that's not what happens. True's not getting an average of 2 kills, and I'm sure as hell not getting an average of 2 kills per game. That's just not happening. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. What I like about doing 50 win streaks in a row is that it forces me to understand the Killer's base kit very well, because I don't use add-ons. It forces me to get very good at them. It forces me to deal with a variety of survivors and maps and still do well and still come back from a bad start. And it obviously, when it goes well, it's really fun. And when it goes bad, it's a learning experience. That's why I do it. I'm not trying to prove a point. I am the first person that acknowledges that this game has balancing issues. But I don't think it's as simple as to say, oh, Killer's super hard, Survivors have it too easy. Because honestly, if you play Survivor yourself, you'll see that it's not really the case. Killers have tons of crutches that can make the game a nightmare for Survivors, and Survivors too have a lot of resources to make the game horrible for Killers. The game's getting better, I think, but it's not really a one-sided argument. But perhaps this second argument we could argue about for a bit longer, and we could do another video where I tell you my impression on, if the game is balanced towards one side, which side truly that is. But that's beyond the scope of this video. I hope that you learn that if you're playing Killer in this game, there is a very large ceiling that you can fill and you can reach, and you can do really well with basically any Killer, with basically any perks. And you do not need to conform to this idea that, oh my god, you need the absolute best perks, the absolute best add-ons, because that's just not true. So please do continue to play this game and have fun while doing it, and let's not, dwell on these small differences between us. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and if you want to see the whole experience of me playing all 22 Killers with this build and these perks, these add-ons and so on, you can go watch a It's there. You can go watch it there. Thank you again.
Like seriously, I bet I could go get a 50 win streak with the clown. Like right now, if I wanted to.